Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Hover. I am here with a demo and review of Espoir's new foundation, Nude Liquid Powder. As you can see here. Now, this has, I would say, a medium coverage, and this is definitely for the oily skin. Excuse me, I'm still a bit asleep. So it's got the SPF of 34 PA++, and the color that I'm wearing is Sand, which is the darkest color. This has like a neutral tone, I'd say. If you are familiar with this kind of foundation packaging, it is very reminiscent of the Giorgio Armani Maestro foundation. And as far as I remember, well, I guess they are close, but I'd say this is very much closer to the Hourglass Immaculate foundation from what I hear on YouTube, and the Chanel Vitalumiere Velvet, because this is a very thin liquidy foundation with a spoid like the Armani foundation, and it turns almost into powder. No, it's literally into powder, so you have to be very quick in application. You have to have an oily skin or very moisturized skin. And right now it's on promotion because it's just been launched, and it has this brush that comes with. For those of you who have watched my older reviews in my old channel, you have probably seen something similar to this. It's like a toothbrush looking brush. I don't know where my old one is. I haven't used it that much. And I would say ixnay on this piece of poo, because believe it or not, it is so much better to apply this with your bare fingers than using this. So if you have the chance to get it with a promotion, do go ahead. I mean, it doesn't hurt to, you know, try it for free. But this is going to retail at 20,000 won, which is about $20 US, and I don't think it's worth it. Unless maybe it was my skin, but I felt that this leaves these brush strokes no matter how softly you try to use. I remember like trying it at the store with the makeup artist, and even she left some strokes, but she was like, oh, you see, it leaves no strokes. Yeah, I just got it because it was on a pretty shocking deal. It came with this, the foundation, and this primer, which is also very reminiscent of the Giorgio Armani facial primer, but anyway. And I would say if you have oily skin, this will help the foundation. This is the Face Prime Makeup Booster SPF 33 PA++, and it's 25 mils. This will help the foundation sit a bit longer, the powder sit a bit longer. But if you have normal skin, if you have dry skin, just don't try it at all, because I have dry skin and I have to moisturize like more than usual, and you know how long my moisturizing routine takes from my older video. And without this, not even this would come up. And it may look really nice on camera right now because I have lighting. When I look at myself in the mirror, it's the powder is still sitting in my pores, in my dry patches, and if it wasn't for this, it would have been worse, and the foundation would melt in like 3 hours, no jokes. But with this, it lasts a bit longer. So like I said, this is for oily, maybe to combination skin, but if you have combination skin, I'd say try and find a nice moisturizing or normal foundation that has the color match with this, and then maybe like use this for your T-zone or your oily zone, and use others for your U zone or your dry zones. Because I do think that this is a really good foundation for those of you who have oily and very good skin. And I don't just mean good as in like no blemishes. I'm talking about good with no like flaws, like, you know, if you just want to just look like you are wearing makeup and maybe you want to, you know, lessen your glow and stuff for a couple hours, because this is not as matte as it seems. Wait, let me just check. Yeah, it's not as matte for a powder. The finish kind of reminds me of the 조성아 Bounce Up Pact, which I also did a review on. But this is applied as a liquid and, you know, without a sponge, so that's a bit different. And this cannot go without a primer, whether you have oily skin or combination skin or dry skin or normal skin, because there's something about it that just melts, you know? So I really do recommend that you use a primer with this, at least a sun cream if you have oily skin, just a normal sunscreen. If you have normal skin, maybe try to go for a slightly moisturizing sunscreen, because when I put this on, not today because I wore like three layers of moisturizing cream before I put this on, and I misted my face twice just for the sake of this review. But usually when I don't have so much time, I feel that this dries up my skin so much that it tightens within like 10 minutes of application, which I think is horrible, but it may be good if you plan on not wearing it for the whole day, because if you do have oily skin, the oil will sort of seep through the makeup. I don't know how else to like explain it. It starts to get greasy. So it sounds like I don't have anything good to say about this, but I mean, I'm just being honest. And the other thing that I don't like about this is when you have a foundation that doesn't last long, at least if it's easy to reapply during the day, that's okay. But this foundation is far from being, I mean, it does have a plastic case, but it has a spoid which attracts dirt and cat hair. And when you use it, like, you have to, like, you know, use like a palette sort of thing. I mean, I would not carry around this to touch up my makeup. That is crazy. And it's a bit difficult because this is liquid but also a powder, so when you apply something over, it'll just go really messy and patchy. Unless, I don't know, if you have a really good touch-up makeup or powder, that's, I guess, okay. But that's not my case. I'm not really the one for touching up makeup. Another disappointment about this is that this is the darkest shade, and I don't think that I have a dark skin for a Korean. I think I have like an average skin tone with a lot of yellowiness, but this being the darkest tone, darkest shade, and this, we're talking about Espoir, which is a specializing brand for color cosmetics. I would say this is quite a disappointment because there are so many people who have a lot more tan skin than I do, even Koreans. And how is this going to accommodate those people unless they are going to cake up, you know, like 1 or 2 shades lighter, because this was supposed to be exactly my shade, but I feel that this is at least 1 shade lighter. And when you see my demo, it was sort of done in a different lighting, but you will see that because this has SPF, so does the booster, it sort of shows a bit ghostly in flash photography, so I want you to be careful of that as well. And I just want to say, don't be fooled by, you know, this video like from far, and with this lighting it looks like it gives a really semi-glossy skin and all of that, but I do also have close-ups to show you that it doesn't really. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy watching the demo that comes next. So I'm going to apply this face prime makeup booster on my bare skin that I have heavily moisturized. Remember that I have dry skin, and I'm applying it with my bare hands. As you can see, it leaves a pretty smooth and glowy layer of skin. It's slightly pink. It leaves your skin slightly lighter than usual. And you can see my skin was bombarded with the microdust. And I'm covering my dark circles with Tuzhem's concealer in rich beige. And a little goes a seriously long way with this product, so I'm really making tiny little dots and dabbing it around just to cover up the dark circles and whatnot. And then I'm going on to my liquid powder in sand. As you can see, it's very liquidy. And I'm going to use my palm as the palette and applying it with my hands because the brush may be clean, but it doesn't quite help. And as you can see, it's lighter than my facial skin tone. So that was a bit surprising because it was supposed to be my natural skin tone, but it's actually not quite. You might have noticed that the lighting is changed from my review section. That's just me having forgotten about the color setting because I hadn't done YouTube in such a long time, so sorry about that. But you can see that the product is way lighter than my natural skin tone. I think that captured that pretty well. I'm just using quick and short strokes to just even out the powder or the liquid. I don't even know how to call this thing now. And just trying to make it as smooth as possible. I feel that the hands are the best. To be honest, I haven't tried the makeup sponge, but I'm like, should I really? Because I really don't want to try this product anymore. And I'm just putting tiny little bit more on areas that were not covered because this product only provides a medium coverage, and I had a few breakouts that needed to be covered. And this layering works pretty clean only when my skin is clean. In the afternoon when I try to do it, it got a bit messy because it was sort of mixed with my facial oil that had sieved through during the day. And here's the close-up that I want to show you. It's gonna get zoomed in even more. Alright, so when I applied it, here is the close-up coming in, zooming in even more. You will see that some of the stuff, the product is actually sitting caked up in my pores, and that just is a big no-no for me. And some of the redness had not been covered, but I could forgive that because my skin isn't in such a good condition. And here on top of my brows you can see some patches, some dry patches. So if you have dry skin, it's gonna get even worse. And then 12 hours later, here's my skin. On your right is a freshly applied coat of foundation, and on your left is the older layer. And as you can see, it's turned a lot more greasy because my skin was dry, but it got oily because it was dry. And you can see even more the color, the foundation sitting in my pores, and that was not a pretty sight. So that was my honest review on the Espoir Nude Liquid Powder SPF 34 PA++. It is definitely up to you to purchase this product or not, but I do really recommend that you try it out. And if you don't try it out, if you cannot try it out, which I do realize is the case for the most of you, I say if you want to venture that's okay, but being safe and not getting it is also another way. So that was it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!